On June 5, 1967, 20 men, armed with pistols, shotguns, and rifles, stormed the courthouse in Tierra, Amarilla, New Mexico.
A county courthouse in New Mexico, where the Wild West is still plenty wild. A band of disgruntled Spanish-American rebels claiming millions of acres under ancient land grants shot up the court and kidnapped 20 persons.
They shot State Police Officer Nick Size in the chest.
Blam! There was a big shot right behind me. I turned around and the state cop who had been standing there was down. And there was a group of people standing around with guns. I hit the floor. I got down, ducked.
They shot County Jailer Eulogio Salazar in the face.
As I saw them all running inside, oh God, I thought, well, we're gonna get killed here, you know.
At one time I looked up and I saw Tierra.
The courthouse raiders called themselves the Alianza. Their leader was a traveling preacher by the name of Reyes Lopez Tijerina.
Which is in the northern part of New Mexico.
I have called the June 5th day many, many names. Finally, one day I said, the day of God on this century, the day of our Indo-Hispano people, the day which have awakened the conscience of America.
Overnight, Tijerina assumed a central role in the civil rights movement. And the United States came face to face with a conquered people it had ignored for too long.
Although we are fighting for land, we are fighting for the survival and protection of our culture.
Tijerina demanded the return of millions of acres of land throughout the Southwest. Land, he says, was stolen from the Mexican people in the years following the Mexican-American War. Tijerina claimed the United States was violating international law, and he cried out for justice.
It was a violent situation. And it wasn't unusual for the 60s because there were riots everywhere. There were protests that turned violent. A lot of people tended to exclude this courthouse raid, but it was very much part of the protest and the anger of the times. People rising up and sincerely reacting in anger to whatever their situation was.
Tijerina insisted he had the power to arrest anyone who violated the rights of his people.
Justice delayed is justice denied. And we were claiming that justice had been denied by the United States government against owners of land, of property.
Hours after the raid, the National Guard was called out to track down Tijerina and his men. It was the biggest manhunt in state history.
That's what helped the Alianza more than anything else. You know, calling in the National Guard, using battle tanks, helicopters, and the Army, that made news for the world.
We don't believe in violence, but we believe in Jesus Christ, who used the whip to drive out the false preachers out of the temple. And I think that's all we did in the courthouse of Tierra Amarilla. We just used a little whip.
As I opened the door, I saw blood on the stairs, and my father had Daniel Rivera beating him, and I never forget Daniel Rivera's words, saying, "Reyes, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué me pegas? Yo qué te he hecho a ti, Reyes?"